Item 6A, 223 Euclid Avenue. It's a request for a use permit to allow construction of an addition which increases the gross floor area ratio of a home by more than 50% and exceeds 1,825 square foot guideline for having a one-car garage. Laura.
Thank you and good evening. The application is for an addition to the house at 223 Euclid, which is located between Masson and Mills Avenues. It's a standard size lot which is currently developed with a single family home that has 1,406 square feet of living area and a 260 square foot garage. The current application is for an addition to the rear of the existing home that would be 438 square feet. In 2003, there was also an addition of 386 square feet that was also to the rear of the original house. So when we add up these two additions, it results in a 64% expansion, which, as you know, triggers the use permit that's under consideration tonight. The second entitlement that's before you is for exceeding 1,825 square feet of living area with a one-car garage. The applicant is proposing 1,844 square feet of living area, which is just 19 square feet above the threshold for the one-car garage. The project complies with all other development standards of the municipal code. It was reviewed at the November Architectural Review Committee meeting and forwarded with minor comments. However, the recommendation to clearly show the location of the front property line, sidewalk, and front fence was not implemented completely within the plan set. So staff has carried that forward and added it as a condition of approval. That's condition of approval number 12. They did meet the other recommendation, which was to indicate on the plans that the window trim would match throughout the house, as well as the window style. Staff sent the customary courtesy notice to the immediately adjacent neighbors, as well as the required legal notice, and we have not received any comments on the project. Staff would like to add an additional condition related to the plans themselves, so we would propose new condition number 28, and that is to read, for the building permit plan submittal, the plans shall be updated to correct misspellings and inaccuracies, including but not limited to street names and the vicinity map. You may have noticed when you were reviewing the plans, there are a number of small mistakes that are kind of scattered throughout the plan set, and we would like to ensure an accurate record, so we would like those items to be cleaned up for the building permit plan submittal. So staff would recommend approval of this project. We find that it is in compliance with the residential design guidelines. The design has a simple building form with the addition to the rear that maintains the existing roof line and style, exterior materials, architectural details. So we would recommend approval of use permit 13-17 based on findings of fact 1 through 6 and subject to conditions of approval 1 through 28, including the additional condition from staff. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Laura. Any questions for staff?
I have a quick question. I'll be a pain in the neck tonight.
Commissioner Marshall.
On the chart, the square footage breakdown chart, is there any way we could add, put some, not just for this project, but like an area for the previous additions? It's because when you look at this, I was trying to figure out why we're going for over 50% until you really read the full report. Someone looks real quickly.
Definitely.
Anyone else? Okay. Would the applicant, would you like to step to the podium and give us your name and tell us a little about your project? If you step to the podium and speak into the microphone, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Serena Amin. I'm the property owner of 223 Euclid Avenue, San Bruno. And I really appreciate that you are reviewing my permits. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? No? Okay. Then we'll move the conversation back to the commission once again.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Peterson.
I had several questions for the designer who's listed as the applicant who did not appear tonight. When I first looked at this application, I looked at it and I immediately noticed a designer seal. And I thought, oh good, a registered architect, a licensed architect. But on closer examination, I find that it is not a licensed architect seal. It says it's a registered professional contractor. There is no such thing in the state of California. There's a licensed contractor. And the seal is made to look as though it were either an architect's or an engineer's seal, but it's not, which I found to be very remarkable. In my experience, I've never seen something like this. And it suggests that there may be other things wrong. So I looked at the rest of the front sheet. I found that the vicinity map has the property in a different place than the address. And it misspells Mills Avenue. I thought, well, maybe these are just two things. Then I looked at the plot plan, and it appears that it's very likely that the indication of where the property line is not correct. And looking further, I found several misspellings, not to start with, Euclid Avenue is misspelled. And possibly since the designer is from out of town, the designer didn't visit the town. Looking at further on the rest of the sheets, there are similar typographical errors, which calls, the balance of this leads me to call the accuracy or completeness of the rest of the design. Not that I know, but when you find a certain number of inaccuracies and inappropriatenesses, it causes me to question that. At the same time, this is a very small application, a couple room additions, and it looks like it has merit and it appears to be, I say appears to be reasonably representative. So it appears to me that most of my exceptions that I take to the application have to do with the performance of the design. And the designer's activity. So what I would like to do is propose that the condition that staff has made to correct the plot plan be expanded to include, as staff mentioned, this misspellings, the vicinity map, and I'd like staff to check the accuracy of the rest of the application as part of that condition, so that I can find, and I make this suggestion as a way to resolve the difficulties that I see with the plans.
Commissioner Peterson, would you like staff also to look at that stamp that's on?
Staff should take any action they find reasonably necessary as a result of finding a stamp that is incorrect, both for representing that it's a contractor and also that it's incorrect to represent it as a designer. I did some research and found that the applicant is a licensed contractor, both A and B, and has been for some time. So it appears to me, at least, that there's some expertise behind this. But the expertise is severely damaged by the faults. But I think it can be resolved with the staff slightly modifying the condition.
Commissioner.
I was going to add to that next week I was going to forward this to the California Architects Board, because using a seal as a designer and misrepresenting yourself to be a designer or anyone with any architectural talent is punishable by the California Architects Board. So I will be forwarding this on for enforcement.
it's also, I suspect, should be forwarded to the Contractor State License Board, because when you say that you're a contractor and represent yourself as a contractor, you're supposed to include your license number. But with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for use permit 13-17 based on findings of fact 1 through 6, conditions of approval 1 through 27, and the additional condition number 28.
Second?
Okay. Would you like to review condition 28 to make sure that all of your issues are resolved through that condition?
Sure.
Laura, would you mind?
Staff, could you tell me what you have as my recommendation for addition?
We've got the existing condition number 12, which is already included in your conditions of approval. In the building permit plan submittal, update the site plan to clearly show the location of the sidewalk and front property line. And then recommended added condition number 28 for the building permit plan submittal. The plan shall be updated to correct misspellings and inaccuracies, including but not limited to street names and vicinity maps.
And is there some review that you can make to further assure staff that the application reasonably conforms with the field conditions?
Yes, staff can certainly do a site inspection upon receipt of the building permit plan submittal and ensure that those plans are accurate.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Does that meet your satisfaction?
That's excellent.
Okay, and a second?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion is approved with a 10-day appeal period.